So recording has been started. So in our last class, you guys sent a note regarding the Z motion. So let's talk about it first. So G motion is like how people are seeing the interface, right? So this is called Z motion. So let me open it. So in this particular image, as you seeing that, okay, let me open this image. Yeah. So over here, so Z motion means is people see or read the whole interface, even the book or any type of a screen where people are reading it. So they are reading it from in a Z motion, like from top left to top right, then in between the content, and then they will read from bottom left to bottom right. So this is called actually a Z motion. So this is the pattern of users viewing the whole application. But let's suppose if we are talking about the Gulf or Mohammedan communities, right? So in Urdu or in Arabic, they have totally 90-degree reflect Z motion. So they see the whole interface from right to left, and then from bottom right to left. So this is the pattern of seeing the interface in front of a user. So this is very important. Like in every interface, you can find the Z motion, like in Facebook. So when user is sign up, so you can see the Z motion in this, right? And let's suppose, so like this is a template of a Z motion. Like here we should put a logo. On top we should have a CTA button like contact us or sign up or register, right? Then we should have a hero image or a slider. Then we have helpful content, then call to action. So this is one very popular tool which we call like Basecamp. With this particular tool, you can manage your application or the project, right? And you can assign different tasks in this particular project. It's like a task management and project management system tool. So in this tool, when we go into the basecamp.com, so logo, try it free. Then we have bold text with the email, and then we have helpful text, and then again we have call to action. So Evernote is like another application. So in this website, this is our Z motion. So when let's suppose we have a very big pattern, right? When we have very long page, so we should use the zigzag motion. So like this, then text, image, then text, then like this. So this is called zigzag motion. So the conclusion is like Z layout has some great things to offer. This is exactly the reason why so many websites adopted it. You can take advantage of Z pattern, present important information in a way that will help the eye naturally scan it. But always remember what you want to communicate in what order. So this is very important statement actually. So in the similar pattern, we should have also understand that what is the F pattern. So let me open that as well. So in the F pattern, so this is called the F pattern, right? From how user is flowing through the information through their actually the eyes, right? So there are many applications, they have F pattern actually. So normally F pattern used for the inside of the pages actually. So this is the F pattern. You see like how people are viewing the whole internet. Wikipedia is one of the biggest example. Then we have google.com, right? So they also have a F pattern. So on the right side, there are some information, but the whole page is totally blank on the right side, and all over the information on the left side. So means the left side is very much content heavy. So their user will have the most intention over there. So that is called F pattern. So let's suppose if we see the CNN website, so this is called the F pattern, right? So on the right side they have just the top story, but on the left side heavyweight content will be there. So now do you guys have any question regarding the previous classes or the chapter 1? Just let me know, I would love to reply it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
The last class we studied about conversion rate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that how can we increase the conversion rate using our UX design? So how can we optimize the conversion rate using our UX skills?
UX have lot of element actually. So right now we are in the initial stage, in the beginner stage, right? So I cannot tell you right away that okay, what type of strategy you have to use, right? So gradually when you will live this whole UX training, then you will understand okay, this particular point I can implement on this particular design or then on this particular product, right? So as in nutshell, if the tip you would like to ask from me, that is you have to keep your landing page of that particular product or any page very minimal. Or let me give you one example on our Think 360 website, because with example we understand actually a lot. So let's suppose I go into the education, right? So your page should be look like this, a big statement, then points on right side. Either you can put a email form or a video, so that user will understand the whole product in with simple bullet points. And then we should have a put a call to action button. So this is one of the example. Second example is in the same pattern, right? But I put a proper image on the right side. So we are saying that okay, we are a telemedicine UI design and healthcare app development company. Then we have some bullet point that what we have achieved in this particular industry. If they are, let's suppose if they said okay, if they understood that okay, we are expert in that particular industry, they will definitely click on the let's talk, and let's talk have a simple pop-up. From there they can trigger their information, for the next level of the discussion. So in the similar way we have another page that is called retail page, right? So in the retail page we have again the same strategy, some bullet points, text. On the right side we have imaginary. We can play with the UI or the cuts or the negative space, but the pattern is a very minimal way, right? Let me show you the uix training page which we have on our website, and that is in the same pattern. So this is the uix training page. I hope everyone see it, right? So on the right side we have an image, then we have a proper statement in the heading, few bullet point, two call to action button. So this is, for now I can tell that okay, if you go with this particular strategy, definitely you will boost your conversion. I hope you got the answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So if you have any other question, just let me know, otherwise we will start the chapter.
So one more, sir, random question.
Sure.
Here we talk about the corner smoothing.
Which
As
one?
you told that corner smoothing.
Ha.
You told us that it is used to make a app user friendly.
Yeah.
Although the many biggies are not using this concept,
Mhm.
but what do you think? What kind of apps are in what kind of apps we can use this corner smoothing to make it more user friendly? Like the corner radius, some of them use 10%, 20%, 30%, and iPhone default its value is set to 60%. So how
Yes.
much is more efficient, and where to use and when to use it?
Normally gaming industry not using any soft corners. If you have seen the gaming interface, right, they are not using the
Yes.
soft corner, they are using sharp corners or zigzag corners. So that is one of the example. Second example is like, as you said, that Apple, they have the soft corner. Nowadays in Android they also have the soft corners. So the
Yes, sir.
material design principle 3.0, they totally change into the soft corners. So let's
Okay.
suppose if the masses is using your interface, right? Masses, like there are if your product is multicultural product, like uh, all type of people, religions, caste, they are using your product, skin colors, different skin colors, those kind of people. So those kind of people, we say in a nutshell, like multicultural people, right? So those,
Okay.
for those audience, you have to go with the soft corner.
Okay.
Okay. So else you can define your, let's suppose if everyone will use the soft corner, so that we cannot differentiate from the market, right? So that's why whenever
Okay.
we create the visual language or the brand language, we have to distinguish that, okay, how we are different from others, from our competitors. So that is also a big challenge. So let's suppose uh, this is an application, right? So in this Microsoft Teams, they have very little soft corners. They have the soft corner, but very little one. But let's suppose if you go into the Microsoft.com, so on this particular website, they have not very much soft corner. The button are not full flashed rectangle, but have like 2% or 3% radius.
Okay.
Yeah. So and you see the images are proper rectangle. So it, don't confuse in between the corners, right? The way you are presenting the interface, and how, for how big company, that is most important. So let's suppose if you go for with the Microsoft design system, so they are not doing that particular thing. In Fluent, they are not using that particular thing, right? So they are using very less sharp corners in their design system. So depend on the company to company how you please your customer. It's up to them. If they will keep the same soft corner in their brand guideline or in the visual language, they will look like an Apple kind of thing. But that's why they would like to differentiate little bit, so that people will know that, okay, this is from the Microsoft. So because the brand recognition is also very important. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's talk about the strategy plan. So strategy plan, you have to understand like this. Okay, you have to first discuss strategy plan. You cannot create without a stakeholder discussion. So that is not mentioned in this book, but as per my experience, you have to first discuss the whole scenario, whole application understanding, like what is going in your client mind. So first you have to make note properly. And yeah, notes are very important actually. So do you guys any using any kind of notes application in your daily life?
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
So what type of application you are using, Sahaj?
Sir, it's a note making application in my phone.
You have Android phone, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So and Sumit, what type of application you are using for managing the notes?
Yeah, I'm not using.
You are not using any?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's talk about this first, because notes are very important. And please keep yourself on mute. And notes are so important because whatever you are seeing on internet, it should be document in a like rough mode in your notes. So if you are a Apple user, I personally recommend you to go with the Apple Notes like this. Very fast system. You can use either on laptop, then you can use in your phones, iPad, cloud base of application, right? But let's suppose you don't have any Apple device, right? So you have to use this particular application. Let me show you. So this is called Keeps, which will show like this. So let's suppose if I click over here, so with every Gmail they will provide you this keeps notes for free, right? So you have to just type over here, put a title like okay, UI UX class, then start writing, right? Let's suppose if we found that particular link, just copy it and put it into your this, right? If you like any article, just paste here. So start making notes, because if you are not making notes and if you are not managing the notes, you're gonna in a deep trouble, right? So please use these kind of applications which are very much free. And one of the another application is that is called Microsoft Notes. So Microsoft also giving a free application that is called Microsoft OneNote. So I'm using this application as well for my personal researches, for my personal like use. So this is also a very good application. So with this application you can create on left side or different notes. You can put like on daily tasks. This is very good application actually, and available for Android, iOS, and even on the Chrome browser you can use an extension, but for that you need a Outlook account. That's it. So start working working on notes, whatever the comfortable like in that application, whatever the application which make you comfortable, right? Just start using it and make notes properly, because if you will not make notes properly, you will always will be in misery, you will because our brain is not trained to remember everything, so we normally forget. So you need a place where you can search it and you can find your notes related to that particular topic. So notes are very important. Next, so here we will talk about the strategy. As I was saying that okay, you have to discuss with your client closely and try to understand what is his mission, at least, because a good UX designer always a very good listener. So if you will not listen, how you will understand your client vision, So first silently, closely understand their requirement, and after that work on the strategy plan, So in the strategy plane, what we do actually, so we define the products and information oriented resources. User needs are the goals for the site that come from outside of organization. So I'll give you one example over here. So like these product objectives can be business goal, like make 1 million in sales over the web this year. So this could be a product objective or a business objective, right? Or kinds of other goals like okay, inform voters about candidates in the next election. So let's suppose in this particular state have elections, so we have to communicate to them or inform them okay, on that particular day, on that particular time, from to this there is an election, right? So we have to inform, then we have to make money. So those are different goals actually. So it's saying that okay, in chapter 3 they will go in detail. So because in our last class we started from here. So in this we have two type of things. One is the product functionality. Like product functionality in nutshell, you can say that okay, what is your client goal, and the second is product as information. So means once you define the functionality, then accordingly you will define the product information. So like let's suppose there is one functionality that is called okay, I not want that user will log in from email, right? Because if user will log in with email, that they have to remember the password, so which I don't want. So what is the solution for that? So the solution for that is user can only log in or register via social media. So like Facebook, Instagram, they can simply log in, or they can log in from mobile phone or mobile number. So that is one functionality. And the information how we are showing to them through the UX and UI, that is called product as information. Like how user will understand that okay, for how many types I can log in that particular application. So each and every plane or the phase we should divide on two part and in whole over the in this UI UX course we will talk about the functionality, and parallelly if we define the functionality, then how we will show them, how we will present them in front of a user. So this is what we are gonna learn from on this particular session. So the scope plane is scope through its creation of functional specification, as I already explained it, a detailed description of the feature set of the product on the information side. Scopes takes the form of content requirement, a description of various content element that will be required. So chapter 4 will be cover all type of scope. So we will learn in the chapter 4 or 3rd as well. So now we have the structure plan. So it's explaining actually this particular points are explaining how we are differentiate. Let's suppose if we divide each and every phase, so it's explaining that okay, in strategy we have user need, then we have project objective. In scope we have function specification, then we have content requirement. If in structure we have interaction design and information architecture, and each and every plane have dedicated chapter in this particular book and explaining very nicely. On top of that, what I will I will add some case studies on which we worked or the all other different product has been developed, right? So so that we can understand very closely this particular thing. So I will not explain all these particular things because we have to explain it in the another chapters as well. So in nutshell, you have to understand that each and every element will have two divides, one for the functional side and another for the information side. Because functionality creation is very easy, I must tell you. You will also learn within next 1 or 2 years if you continue this career, because functionality creation is not a big challenge. The biggest challenge is how user will use that particular functionality, and in this particular course we will only talk about that. Because in first chapter we talked about the usability, we talked about the accessibility. Why? Because these two elements will elevate your whole user experience of your application. So both things are very important, usability and accessibility. So so that is an explainer for the theory part. If you want to read it, you must read it, because I read a lot of time. So you please spend some time on this. So I hope you already read the first chapter, guys, and now it's time to read the second chapter. So now we have the strategy plane, project objectives and user needs. My kid is crying. Give me 1 minute.
No issue.
1 minute. Yeah, I'm back. So let's talk about the strategy plane today. So it's saying that okay, foundation of a successful user experience is clearly articulate strategy, knowing both what we want the product to accomplish for our organizations and what we want to accomplish for our users informs that the decisions we have to make about every aspect of the user experience. But answering the simple question can be trickier than it looks, and that is true actually. So let's talk about the defining the strategy. So we will only read two pages today, and I will take you today on another website. There we will talk about some laws, right? Some principles. So today we will only discuss like the 36 and 37 number page. So I will, because reading is, I know it's very boring, but if you will read with interest, you will get interest, I hope. So we have the defining the strategy. The most common reasons for the failure of the website is not technology. It's not the user experience either. Website most often fail because before the first line of code was written, the first pixel was pushed, or the first server was installed, nobody bothered to answer these two very basic questions. What do we want to get out of this particular product, and what do our user want to get out of it, So again, why we are building this particular product, and for whom we are building this particular product. So again, we are so in the strategy plane we are defining the user needs and product objective. So let's suppose if we are developing a particular functionality, but when we are launching, sometime or many time it happens that when they launch the particular product with those particular 5 functionality, user don't need them. User that is very new for them, maybe, right? Or they user already have their alternates in that particular functionality, so they don't need it actually if you are not defining your user or the user needs. So this is these two questions are actually very important before start any kind of design, even, or any kind of wireframe or any kind of user research, that for whom and why we are building this particular product. So now like this, by answering this first question, we describe the product objectives coming from inside the organization. The second question addresses user needs. Objectives imposed on product from outside. Together, product objectives and user needs from the strategic plane, the foundation of every decision in our process as we design in the user experience. Yet amazingly, many user experience products do not begin with a clear, explicit understanding of the underlying strategy. So the key objective is we have to understand our user needs first, then we have to define the product scope or the functionality accordingly. So then we have product objectives. So the product objective is like, okay, the first part of the making of our strategic split is examining our own objective for the product or service. So they also explain in a detail. I will explain you. So the people commonly use terms like business goals or business drivers to describe internal strategic objectives. I'm going to use term product objectives because these other terms are both too narrow and too broad. Too narrow because not everyone internal goal is a business goal. After all, not every organization has the same kind of goal that businesses do. And too broad because our concern here really is to identify in the most specific term possible what we expect the product itself to accomplish, regardless of the rest of other business activities. So most people start over describing object for their products in very general terms. So in case of website, they fundamentally serve one or two purposes: to make the company money or to save the company money. Sometimes it's both, but exactly how these sites are supposed to do, that is not always clear. So what is the meaning of this particular paragraph is like, if you are defining your business goal, right, without any user needs, your site maybe it will be gonna biggest hit in 1 year or 2 year. But if the only purpose of your website is the business goal, at one day it will gonna to the end very soon. So it's like user needs and business goals should go parallel, right? So let's suppose if you are giving 10 features to a particular user in $10, right? So that is fine. Okay, so let's suppose if you're introducing like 12 11 feature 12 feature, right, which is actually helping their daily task or in their daily life, right? So user will always will be with you in the business model, right? They will never unsubscribe your product, because you have kept the balance in between user needs and the business goals. So that chapter is actually defining the balances in between these two. So as I already told you, we will only discuss these two pages. Now I will talk about some laws which is very important. Do you have guys any question related to this what we have discussed in last 25 minutes?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about very interesting, because I know theory always bored you guys. So I have one solution for that. So let's talk about this. So I will open one website. Yeah, this one. Open. Okay. So we will talk about. I will share this link with you guys. Okay. So don't worry about it. So let's talk about some laws today. Hicks Law, right? So Hicks Law predicts that the time and the effort it takes to make a decision increases with the number of options. The more choices, the more time user take to make their decisions. You guys understood this particular thing? Or so let me explain you. So it means if you are giving a user more options, right, they will get confused. So Hicks Law said more options leads to harder decision, or you can say that less options. And I'm giving you the answer of your previous questions as that how to optimize the conversion, right? So let's suppose we have like 3 subscription plans or 4 subscription plan in the product, right? So user will get confused, okay, which is their benefits, because nobody would like to subscribe or every month subscription, so they want a very simple chill pill solution for their that particular task. I don't know how long it is, but they don't want get confused actually, right? So let's suppose on the subscription page, if you will just give like not more than 2 options of the subscription, that will improve your conversion. So the Hicks Law said less option, high conversion. So the next law we will talk about. So there are some case studies as well, like they have Airbnb. So having too many options can lead to the paradox of the choice. Then they have Trello, they have Duolingo. So those are the case studies they have. So from there we can understand okay, how the user is getting problem if user get lot of options, a lot of option to get conversion.
Sir, what do you think about YouTube?
YouTube means?
So YouTube is also giving a lot more options to the users. Doesn't it create the paradox of choice to the users?
Obviously, more than 2 option, always user will get confused.
And so they are giving multiple options.
Let
but
them
still,
give.
Sir, we are using YouTube.
In YouTube, how many people are subscriber? We sacrifice with the ads, but I never buy a subscription, for me. Okay.
Yes,
so,
sir, as we talked about that, if we're given more options, it will be difficult for us to take a decision.
Yes,
and the
exactly.
more time we take, the more decision making will be difficult with time.
Yes. And YouTube have the, I tell you how YouTube is working. So let me open it. I hope it will open. YouTube have simple subscription like okay monthly subscription or monthly they will free, after that they will charge you monthly, you know. So I never seen YouTube have multiple subscription more than two. Hello, you there?
Yes, sir, listening.
Okay. I don't know why my YouTube is not working today. So let's move forward. Let's talk about the next law that is called Fitts law. So actually these laws made in the 1990. So what Fitts law says, Fitts law is a predictive model which states that the time to acquire a target is a function of the distance to and size of the target. This is mainly used to model the act of pointing, either physical or virtually. So with this paragraph you can never understand this Fitts law. I will explain you through one example. I'm finding a good example. Yeah, so this is called Fitts law. So Fitts law say okay is a predictive model which states that the time to acquire a target is a function of the distance to and size of the target. This is mainly used to model the act of pointing either physically or virtually. So in this example, so this is like a graph, but let's talk about this particular. So we have phone and we have a CTA button on top right. And let's suppose if user is using the whole phone with one hand, so it which interface do you think, the left one or the right one, is easier for a user?
The left one.
Why?
So it is more hand friendly, we can say.
Yeah, and less distance, you know. So on this right side they have the bigger distance, so they have to go on to very top to press anything, you know. So the important button like subscribe or register, that should be very close to their thumb, just along with the center button, you know. So this is the meaning of the Fitts law. You got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's not even on the digital form, but also it apply on the physical products. So that is called Fitts law. Let's talk about another law. So let me find the law. Oh, Miller's law is not available. Come on. Okay, let's talk today Miller's law. Okay, that is very interesting law. So first law was, इसको रट्टा मार लो, Hicks law, less option, high conversion. Then another one is Fitts law is okay. You keep your CTA button fit into a lesser distance. So this is very easy to understand, you know. And then we will talk about the Miller's law. Let's talk about the Miller's law. Very important. So Miller's law, as per this particular design. So this is the last law today, guys, which we will discuss. Oh, my internet is very slow today. This article will open here. Yeah. So Miller law said, let's start with a quick exercise. It's not wise to put a theoretical definition in the beginning. I want you to remember this. Your task is to read the numbers from left to right. Try to remember it. So left to right, 7, 8, 9, 6, blah blah blah. Now close your eyes and try to recall it. Cannot do it? Try to doing it again by putting in the groups like 7896 512 665. You see, on in Apple or all other devices in the mobile, they put the number in groups, so that we can understand or we can memorize that particular number. So this is called chunking. So group is called chunking, is always good, better than munching. And then so the Miller saying that if you put your information in groups, that is more easy for a user. So the crux of this particular law. Images is loading. I will share this link with you in the chat as well. So it's saying the number of objects an average person can hold in working memory is about 7, also known as the magical number 7 plus or minus 2, called Miller's law. So it's not this Miller law not even apply on the numbers, but also apply on the the task. Like let's suppose if we are giving like 10 tasks, 7 tasks. So let's suppose if you are giving a task to the user in a group, right? That will be very easy. Or let's suppose you are taking the task from a user in steps. Like in step user will perform 5 tasks. In step 2 user will perform like another 5 tasks, and in step 3 user will perform just 2 tasks. So those steps is a kind of a groups. So that will be very easiest journey for a user. And those type of things like user we can use for the onboarding, we can use for any kind of interface. So that is called Miller's law. Any question regarding the Miller's law, guys? No question? Great. So that's it for today, guys. So today we will discuss about the laws and started chapter 1. So I'm sharing this link with you guys. And let's talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys. Bye. Take care.